What's up? It's your typical autistic metalhead here. I was feeling a little down this afternoon, so I thought I'd make a video about something that always cheers me up, always makes me happy, and one of my favorite things in the whole world, and that is metal music. And just wanted to go through kind of like my story of getting into metal music, my gradual immersion into falling in love with the genre and becoming my favorite genre of all time. And also kind of want to start making my YouTube channel a little bit more metal focused, centered as best I can. I've always, like, my self-esteem problems in the past have always like led me to not feel like I'm like qualified enough to talk about metal music, and me feeling more confident in it and just gaining more knowledge in it, and just feeling more confident in my knowledge about metal makes me want to start making stuff about it. So I just love it so much. It's just something I just very much enjoy, and don't need to worry about the haters, I guess. But just kind of wanted to do like a little timeline of me just like throughout my life falling in love with metal. And I was actually luckily exposed to metal music fairly young. My dad showed me a lot of music when I was young, like stuff like a lot of classic rock and like some like kind of more modern just rock, like from like the 90s, early 2000s, like back in the day, like classic rock like AC/DC. And I remember listening to a lot of AC/DC a lot when I was a kid with my dad. I'm pretty sure it's a typical dad rock. My dad was like into like dad rock and shit. So also he was loved the Foo Fighters, and that was a very special band to me as a kid. And stuff like Third Eye Blind, just like stuff like that my dad really liked. But the one thing that really stuck out the most to me and always intrigued me, and like always like something I really wanted to listen to and was excited every time I listened to it, was Metallica. Specifically, he used to always play songs off of their album Injustice for All. Songs like Blackened, The Shortest Straw, Harvester of Sorrow, One. And that album has just been such a special and important part of my life. I remember he like used to burn CDs, and he had like those like specific songs that he liked the most off the album. It was most of the album, honestly. But I was just always just remember just being so excited about it. Always just like the sound just really was like, wow, that's so cool. Like the just deep distortion of the guitars and just like the whole production of it, the way it all came together. I just really liked the sound of it. It really intrigued me a lot. And I'll always be excited when he would put that on. And he that was when I was probably like, honestly, like probably like second or third grade when I heard that. And then throughout the rest of like elementary school, like I started like getting a little bit more into metal. I didn't really know a way in. My dad didn't go any further really than that album. There's definitely some songs off the Black album that he liked a lot too. He was like in his like younger 20s when those albums were coming out, and he was like in college, and I actually went to see them live around like on their like Injustice for All tour, which is really fucking cool. But he wouldn't go any further than that. He did not get anything more intense, extreme ever. Like that, when it comes to metal, it was mostly that and like hair metal, like glam metal and stuff like Def Leppard and Motley Crue and stuff like that. He really liked as well. But and Metallica was about as heavy as he would get, especially that album. But as elementary school kept going on, I came across some stuff here and there, but I'd say like the next, I was intrigued by some like new metal. I was aware of Korn. I was aware of Slipknot. I actually had a Slipknot CD that I actually didn't really listen to too much at the time. They're self-titled, because it was a bit too intense for me as a kid. I'd say I wasn't really ready for that. But the next really thing that really stuck with me was within metal music, and the next step, I guess, for me was in like 5th grade or so. I got into System of a Down. I was mostly intrigued by them because like a few of my friends at school like told me about them, and I was just like intrigued. They had explicit lyrics. Like my dad was always so crazy about like explicit lyrics, and The word fuck was just like very intriguing to me as a kid. And so I just remember just like System of a Down. Of course, they're such a unique band, and like nobody sounds like System of a Down. I was just like, I was like, oh, like it brings out like those like things I like the distorted guitars, the intensity, but it has like this different like these vocals and stuff, and the more like like sounds. They started instrumenting some of those like grunting kind of things into their music, and that was like kind of the next step for me, and I got really intrigued and like obsessed with that band and just wanted to listen to them all the time and stuff. And that was like kind of the next step for me. And then as I got into 6th grade, there was this kid at school who was really into like metalcore and stuff, and I had never really heard much metalcore up to that point. But I was like a little church kid as a kid around that time too, so like getting into more extreme stuff would have been like scary to me too, like any of the like satanic shit or anything like that. So I was like scared of like getting too deep into stuff, but I was also still so intrigued. I'd always loved like Halloween, spooky shit, and so anything like that's just like a big theme within just most metal music too. It's just like that kind of aspect. And so like metalcore like was a bit pretty intense, and like I loved like the screaming and stuff. I didn't even know it was clearly called metalcore at the time. People just called it screamo. Like anything that had screamy vocals was just screamo music. But I remember at that time there's this guy in my school that I was like hanging out with a lot around that time, and he showed me the band, specifically the album Plagues by The Devil Wears Prada. And that's still like, if I want to listen to a metalcore album, that's most likely the one I'm gonna put on. I still love the shit out of that fucking album. It's just like such a great mix of like the melodicness, the melodic vocals, and then like the harsh, like screamy, almost like black metal-esque screeching vocals at points. And just love that shit, and I still fucking love that shit. It's so fucking awesome. But I kind of got pretty into metalcore at that time. I just found like other Christian metalcore bands like As I Lay Dying, August Burns Red. There was this one called Gwen Stacy that I really liked, and I was like really into that. But then like my best friend at the time, who I was really close with, I gotten really close with in 5th grade, who like actually somewhat like System of a Down. He never like, I don't know if he was really that into it, but he was more like into like rap and like more accessible stuff. But like I remember like I had my iPod Nano, and I put it on. I like was really excited one day. Like he was over at my house, and I was like, "Oh, Gwen Stacy's on here now. I forgot about that." And like put it on, and he was just like not happy with it. He did not like it at all. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it like made me like feel bad. Like I was like, "Oh, this is my good friend. Like maybe I shouldn't be listening to this stuff. I'm autistic, so like I just always feel like I'm doing the wrong thing a lot. Like I take so much from other people. Like I struggle socializing, and don't know like exactly how I'm supposed to socialize with my brain. It doesn't like work in the same way. And so like I would always just like mask and like hide that part of me. I would suppress that part of me so people that I want to like me will like me. So that's kind of what happened after that time. Like all the metalcore stuff kind of got condensed. Like I was like, it was like sad for me to like kind of let it go. But before we move on from there, I guess I should mention a little bit too some other stuff that I listened to probably around like 5th grade too, around with the System of a Down, and like in that time frame, like was the band Disturbed is another special one to me that I really liked. Especially the album Believe, and especially 10,000 Fist. I was so obsessed with that album. That was like one of my first CDs I ever got, and I just loved the album artwork on it. It was like the characters and stuff, and I just like it was just so fun to me, and I really liked it. And I think it's fairly corny now, but it's like nostalgic. But I don't really listen to it that much anymore. But it was Disturbed, and then Breaking Benjamin, and then Breaking Benjamin had like Radio Time. They're like a poppy alternative kind of metal band from that time. But I still have like a soft spot for both of those bands. My guilty pleasure bands, I've talked about that on my channel before. But they were just like, they were special for me at that time too, and that was like another kind of gateway. Like, it was a little bit heavier stuff, new metal-esque kind of things and alternative kind of metal things that I was into at that time. More like mainstream stuff known more by people and stuff. But moving on from there, and all through the rest of middle school, like I said, I was suppressing myself, and into like high school, like the middle school, like 7th grade, I started getting into rap music a lot. Like, a lot of my friends were listening to rap, and that was another thing I was very intrigued by, because explicit lyrics, and I just really liked the sound. I just thought it was really cool, and everybody else thought it was cool. So I'm like, oh, it must like be really cool to listen to. And I still love lots of rap music and hip hop, and it's a special genre to me too. But I just like was listening mostly probably to that, like Lil Wayne, Eminem, like all those like popular artists at that time. The Game, just stuff like that. And that kind of just like that went into the high school. I was like, oh, I actually really like this. I want to dig deeper into this. It's got the explicit lyrics and it's intriguing to me. I'm going to try to find a way to download them online so my dad doesn't know about it. And got into high school, the same thing. Just like I was getting like downloading apps. Streaming still wasn't a thing quite yet. I would get downloading apps on my smartphone or my iPod Touch, and would download the music to my thing. It was mostly just mainstream hip hop music. There was like, I was around when Drake was really getting big, and like the last wing of Lil Wayne and that like Young Money kind of stuff. And A$AP Rocky was the one that really intrigued the hell out of me. Just stuff like that, like just like, and Tyler the Creator, Odd Future, stuff like that. That stuff like really intrigued me. And then like cloud rap, when that started coming in like 2014ish, I was really into stuff like that. And I just love like ambient textures and music, and there's a lot of cool electronic sounds within a lot of rap music that I love very intensely. But I didn't, so like all that time there was like a big stretch of years, like probably like 5 years that I like was away from metal music completely for the most part. Like I wasn't listening to anything, as I was, like I said, had very low self-esteem. I wanted to fit in with everybody else, and I was accepted if I listened to this one. I couldn't not get, like I always thought music is just so cool. I loved music, and I thought music was like one of the coolest things ever, and you were cool if you listened to certain types of music. And it wasn't just like it did make me feel cool, but at the same time I just loved it so much, and like it gave me a confidence boost. And especially when other people are like, oh yeah, this is cool too, like, yeah, this is cool, dude, how'd you find this or whatever. But it wasn't usually about how'd you find this, but like getting people into things and stuff like that. But towards the end of high school, one of my friends started getting more into like classic rock and stuff again, started implementing that, like Led Zeppelin, and then like Nirvana. And I got so obsessed with Nirvana towards the end of high school, like 11th grade, just like 2014 kind of time frame. And then around that time I was like exploring a lot of like classic rock I hadn't heard much before. Like I was listening to some of like the Beatles and David Bowie and stuff like that. There's just some other ones that kind of stand out. The Doors was the big one. But I was intrigued, but I just always kind of like older stuff too, like vintage kind of feeling things. But I started gravitating back towards my roots with Metallica and System of a Down. I remember like some of my friends that were like still like trying to like interested in getting into some rock music, and like I would show them that stuff, and they'd be a little pretty hesitant about it at first. And it was just like, I was like, what? Like, this shit is fucking so awesome. It sounds so cool. Like, how do you not think it sounds so cool? And so I just like, I started listening to those again. And then like right after high school, I was going to the gym a lot. And that's when I started like digging a little bit more. That's right when streaming started coming out. Apple Music dropped, and I was really excited about Apple Music at the time. And I got it like right when it came out in like 2015. And I was going to the gym a lot, and was just listening. I wanted to listen to metal music, and like notable band. That's like another like era of time there I started getting really into metal again, and there was like a big resurgence for me. It was a good time for me to like really like, oh yeah, I fucking love this shit. And big bands. Around that time, I was listening to Slipknot's Self-Titled a lot at that time. That shit was just heavy. and that's when I found Sepultura and Nail Bomb and Flesh Crawl, Machine Head, like some of those like industrial um, kind of esque metal from like the 90s. I was listening to Tool. I remember my friend, actually, that friend that I was talking about earlier, is the one who showed me Tool and like the weird like music videos and shit that went along with it, and that was very intriguing to me. I've always like loved weirdo shit and weird things, and that was another thing I always suppressed when I have low self-esteem. Other people don't like weird shit most of the time. If you're weird, you're a weirdo, and didn't want to be looked at as a weirdo. I wanted people to like me for whatever fucking reason, but I was just I just struggled a lot with that shit back in the day, and I should have been I should have been expressing myself being a weirdo, and then the weirdos would have come, like I would have connected with other weirdos. I just wish that would have happened, but here we are now. But after that, like, I was listening to a lot of that stuff in that time, and then as I got into like I was 2016 and stuff, I kind of got into a time where I wasn't listening to that much metal again. I was like occasionally listening to some new metal, and I will mention back in like 2015, another big one, like right after high school, like was Korn's self-titled album. I got really into Korn's self-titled album, and like Follow the Leader and like somewhat Life is Peachy as well. Those first like few albums, I was really intrigued by that sound, and Korn's self-titled is fucking awesome, and there's just a lot of the songs are still very like important to me, and I still love them a lot. So that was like another step for me, like getting more deeper into like stuff like that, and that was just like, it's still important, like an important thing for me. It was still like more accessible metal music, more known metal music, pop, like just well known, and I just like couldn't, I just still hadn't had the time to like dig too much deeper, and I guess I was still like a little bit like hesitant about digging deeper, and like a little bit freaked out by it, I guess. But as we go into like 2016, 2017, I was like mostly listening. There was like the big three bands for me at that time, or like artists, not metal related, was MGMT, Sonic Youth, and Pixies. So kind of like weirdo indie kind of related things. I was just intrigued by those sounds a lot. I was listening to them, like the noisy sounds from Sonic Youth, the like weirdo screeches from Pixies, and like the weird neo-psych shit from MGMT. So I was like listening to them predominantly, and then 2018, one of the biggest years for music discovery of my entire life. We'll always look back onto it as just such an important year for me. I found some of my favorite music of all time that year, and it was really when I dug in and just really started finding some stuff. But it was later in the year that I really found anything when it comes to metal music again. So in 2018, I started getting intrigued by Anthony Fantano, the music reviewer on YouTube. And I've always been so like since I've made my YouTube channel and talk about music, I always feel like self-conscious about mentioning Anthony Fantano. Like, oh, he's just a Fantano head. He's just a little like a loser, like follower. And so I've always been like upset to like, they're just really hesitant about bringing up Anthony Fantano. There's just like so much like stigma behind him and stuff like that. But he showed me a lot of cool music and stuff I had never heard of before, and me just like not being in like, for a period there, like right after like the end of high school, and then like those few years up to 2018, I was like completely like really not that into like didn't want to look into like new music at all. I thought all new music was just trash. Like all of the like modern trap music, people think it's trash and it must be trash. So I just like wasn't open to like new music, and he kind of like opened my mind. I was intrigued by him because he was very like intense with his ratings. Like he would like, it was so hard to get like a 10 or a 9 or just some high rating from him. Like he just always rated stuff really lowly, and I was like, oh man, well, he must know what he's talking about. Like, I'm gonna check out some of the things he's given really good reviews to, and see what it's about. And then like I would listen to them, and they'd just be like, wow, like this is so interesting. Like I've never like heard anything exactly like this. And there's just like so many cool sounds that I found, just like weirdo experimental shit, just wonky sounds that I'd never really heard. Like some like more like another side of rap that I wasn't like really into, like wasn't into in high school, was like the experimental shit, like industrial shit, like Death Grips, and like then like the more stuff on like the side of like abstract hip-hop, like Billy Woods and Arm & Hammer and stuff like that. So I was just really intrigued by that, and like clipping, industrial too. So a lot of those bands, or those like hip-hop roots and like just weirdo experimental electronic shit. But it's not, I'm trying not to get too off topic here, but getting back around, he also showed me some cool metal shit. He introduced me to Ghost, and Nails and Pissgrave. Like, he like reviewed all that shit, and I was very intrigued by a lot of that, and I was like, what the fuck, this is interesting. Like, I didn't know like good shit was still coming out in the modern day. But the one video by him that was very important to me was he did like a small list of like a death metal starter pack, and I was like very intrigued. I was like, death metal, so I clicked on that video. I can't remember all the ones that were on there, but I know Death Symbolic was on there, and that changed the fucking game for me, man. That album changed everything for me, and will probably always be my favorite metal album next to Metallica and Justice for All. That was like my new awakening into metal music, and then it was down the rabbit hole after that. It was just like I was so fucking intrigued, like all these cool album artworks, all these cool sounds, like just like freaky guttural vocals, like screeching and black metal, and like just like these like demonic things, and like these brutal, gruesome, weird fucking spooky things happening, and just, oh my god, it was like I needed to find this my whole fucking life, man. Like ever since I was a little kid, I've always loved shit like this. Like this was like opening up the most cool fucking door ever, and I was just like, this is fucking amazing. So it was like Death Symbolic, Entombed's Left Hand Path was a huge one. Birds and Philosophum, Dark Throne Under a Funeral Moon, like those albums are so fucking important. Gore Gets Considered Dead, like that's when I found all this shit, and then I was thankful for just streaming at that time, because like that's how I found that shit. That's how I got to dig deeper into that shit. And I was just like sitting there like every day, like trying to find more shit. I would go out on my long walks through the woods and listen to my extreme metal. And this is like the fall into the winter of 2018. Perfect timing to get into that shit too. And oh my god, bro, just digging deeper, finding like related things, scrolling through there, just finding cool fucking album artworks and cool albums, and just like, god, I can just feel the comfort in my body right now, bro. Just like, it just brings me such joy and excitement, and just like, oh my god, I just love it so much. I love the artwork. I love the feeling that it gives me, and just finding that shit, it just like makes me feel good, makes me feel confident. I just think it's so neat. It just reminds me of like some of my favorite times of the year, and like something that like helped me escape the world away from other people who were always so shitty towards me and would never understand me, like being fucking weird, and just, I don't fucking know, bro. It was just so fucking important to me, and that was just a huge time for me. And that was the time I really discovered that I love fucking metal so much. But I will say after that, one more artist I want to mention real quick is Obituary. Was another big one that I really liked at that time too. Just countless. I could keep going down the hole right now, but I'm gonna move on. But I was listening to that into the 2019, like early 2019 into the spring. Then I think I started like somewhat suppressing it again into like 2020. It was still like there. I would occasionally listen to extreme metal and stuff, and then and at the end of 2020, in 2020 I started collecting records, vinyl records, and so I was listening to a lot of classic rock and stuff again, punk music, stuff like that. I was like, oh, this works on this format and stuff, and I still had my metal stuff that I wanted on that format too, and I had my metal CDs I never wanted to get rid of and stuff. And but I wasn't listening to them a ton at that time. And then I met my ex-partner at the end of 2020, and she was like I was trying to introduce her to some like metal music. And like 2019, and around that time too, like early 2019 or like end of 2018, I also got into Deftones Around the Fur a lot. I really liked that album. And I remember trying to show that album to my ex-partner. It was like, oh, that's not for me. I don't like this stuff. I don't like anything like that. They're like, oh, okay. Like, I'm gonna have to like suppress myself again. Like somebody actually likes me now. The first person that actually like really liked me, I was so lonely for so long, didn't really connect with anybody. So somebody actually like seemed like actually give a shit and actually want to like be around me and talk to me and like thinks I'm cool. It was like very important to me. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta suppress myself again. I gotta mask. I gotta fit in to be liked. So throughout my relationship with that person, we really dated for like 3 years. I was suppressing myself a lot. I still was like definitely intrigued with metal music, and another big step for me was in 2022. Actually, I didn't really listen to much metal music at all in 2021, and with 2022, probably like middle of the year or something, I found the YouTuber Wyatt XM. And Wyatt, if you happen to be watching this, hello, thank you for your cool things, cool videos. But he just showed me some cool ass fucking shit, man. Like I just started watching his videos and got really intrigued by his shit, and he just showed me a whole nother level of stuff that I hadn't found in the past, and just like getting into different bands and different styles, like even deeper than I'd been before, and like more modern stuff and stuff I didn't know about. And so that was like another big time, and I was very intrigued about that, but I couldn't really share that with my partner, so I was still kind of compressing it, like suppressing it, but I was also like could not like. And Wyatt XM actually showed me a lot of like weirdo shit, like more like neo folk and like industrial shit. That's industrial stuff. Like I was very intrigued by that shit too. So that was like another like door opening for me, is finding some of that cool shit. But that's I was still somewhat suppressing, but then I started going to shows. 2022 is when I started finding shows and stuff, and I just saw stuff was going on in town. And a show I really remember, the two headliners were 200 Stab Wounds and Creeping Death. And I went to that show. It was like this like super hot, dingy warehouse here in my town, and I was like, this is fucking sick. It was so cool. I was like, like I'll go in there and everybody's wearing band shirts and stuff and everything. And then like I was always like so weird about that too. Like I was always that was the time, that was another like transition for me. And so like I didn't like expressing myself, like showing my band shirts and stuff. I was like, oh no, like people aren't gonna like me, like they're gonna think I'm weird, like I can't wear this, I can't express myself this way, especially the person I was around and their family and stuff. So the person I was dating and their family, like it wouldn't have understood my like gruesome fucking shirts and shit. And I was always so intrigued by them. And then when I started getting into that, I'm like, oh, I gotta start getting some of these fucking shirts, man. Started expressing myself that way. And then I finally started coming out of my hole a little bit there and started expressing myself. And then the barrier between my partner and I started being more of myself, embracing more of myself, getting more confident in myself, and we started drifting apart, man. And we valued different things. And into 2023, I was starting to express myself more in that way and getting more into metal music. Always wanted to go to shows and find cool metal and shit like that. And then we broke up. That was a crazy time for me. It was very intense. I'd never been so close with somebody in my life, and lived with somebody for so long, and for it to abruptly end. And it was a rough time for me. I was going through a lot of grief at that time. But that was the end of 2023. But I remember right around that time, something that really helped me, of course, was metal music. Always made me feel better. And I found the album the album Lux Mort by Reverence to Paroxysm, and there's also Apotheos by Dequisitor, which I talked about in my tape video the other day. But I found those around that time, and I was like, fuck yes, man. And I was just like, yes, this is the shit that makes me still feel so fucking good. I love this shit. It's so fucking sick sounding. And that was just like another just metal, just like saving me and just making me just feel better in the time. But going into 2024, I didn't like, as you watch my year end list 2024, I was still listening to a bit of metal music and stuff. It was a little bit sprinkled in, but I met my current wife that year, and I was intrigued by a lot of like post-punk and electronic stuff around that time too. But still quite in the metal. I was expressing myself mostly with my wearing and my extreme shirts and stuff. and my finally expressing myself the way I've always wanted to. And but I was listening to a lot of stuff like with her, and like listening to like stuff that she likes. She's not like really much of a metal fan. I'm the one who's gotten her a little bit more interested in metal. She doesn't really, it's not really something she's gonna sit and listen to on her own, but she's like more of like an indie kind of person too. But so throughout 2024, definitely still someone intrigued. Of course, like I wanted to hear some metal. I was just a kind of somewhat closed-minded to like more modern metal. I was trying to listen to more modern stuff and like trying to get my year list. I want to have a cool year and list. Just another self-esteem thing. Like I want people to like me, and especially I always think people who are into music are cool, and because I think music's so fucking cool. But that was like a thing at that time, and I wanted good diversity. I want to have like, I gotta have like diversity. If you're just like into metal and you're just a metalhead, you're just a cult elitist metalhead person. You're so boring and only into metal and stuff. So I like suppress that part. Like it's not cool to be that way. But I think I've like come more to embrace that in the past 2 years. Stop getting scared of that, and because I started opening I just thought like modern metal, like, oh, it all just sounds the same. It just sounds like the old stuff. Nothing's really that great. Like it's not important. But I guess I still like somewhat feel that way about certain things. Like there's definitely some bands that are very important out there, and I actually am planning on making a video about like some of my modern favorite modern albums that have like had an effect on me. But I was like pretty close-minded to like modern metal and didn't really get into like modern bands and stuff. So I was like, oh, it's just like the old stuff is where it's at, and I still mostly love the old stuff and mostly listen to older stuff, but I'm still very like, I'm a lot more open to newer stuff. And that was a big thing that happened to me last year, 2025, was like I got very intrigued. Just like there was some older stuff that I had like overlooked the first time that I got more into, like classics and shit, like Dissection, Necrophagist, Test Symbolism, stuff like that. And at the gates, I was not open to a lot more melodic stuff back in the day, or like technical stuff. I was just like straight up death metal, straight up black metal. But I started opening my mind more to that, and just like realizing I just love everything metal. I just love all types of metal. I want to hear all the different types of things. I want to hear the different sounds. I want to know more about this, and that was a big thing. And then like later into the year, Pissgrave released their last album, posthumous, or not posthumous, Malignant Worthlessness, and that just intrigued the hell out of me. And like that, and like this Caustic Wound album were the ones that was like, I kept wanting to go back to them. I kept wanting to listen to them. And then like I just started getting into more like modern metal bands. I was going to some metal shows. I saw Corpus Opho live at the show with my friend, and like that was like in May of 2025. And then like I just started really wanting to get into some more modern bands, and like I was just intrigued by that kind of like death doomy kind of sound that like came from like the Disma, like the old school death metal, death kind of doom sound that a lot of bands adopted. But that was like huge, and I was like listening to tons of metal music last year, and that was just like me just starting embracing more like, yeah, I fucking love metal, everything fucking metal. And then I got into fucking heavy metal later in the year. I was never been too much into heavy metal and like just power metal, stuff like that, and I got more intrigued by that, more open-minded to that. I always wanted like, why don't I like this? Like I always like, everybody always raves about Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, why don't I like it that much? And then it finally just clicked with me, specifically with the album Somewhere in Time by Iron Maiden, and then like Merciful Fate, Don't Break the Oath was another one that was really big, and Painkiller by Judas Priest. Those are just like really big ones for me, and just really just fell in love with that. And like I remember it kind of reminded me of like the old rock and roll kind of shit I used to listen to. I'm like, it's not heavy. I used to always think it's not heavy enough, bro. Like, but then I just like, it was like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. This is fun. This is really good shit, and it's super influential. And that was another big like time for me to be more open-minded. It was just like finding, being more open-minded to things and wanting to just discover everything metal and getting more familiar with things. And now into 2026, I'm just like full on, just like basically just embracing metal music. I just want to listen to metal all the time. Like most of my music collection is metal. Last year was another, like I went on a binge last year. That was just another thing. Like I was just like struggling with my job and stuff, and I cope with buying shit. And what else would I buy besides metal CDs and metal tapes? Metal is just my favorite thing. I just like bought so fucking many, bought all the fucking classics that I love so much, ones that are so important to me, and just bought a lot of fucking shit last year. Like went through all my fucking savings. Like, yeah, when I was a madman, but I don't give a fuck because I have all my fucking special shit. I'll always have it with me. Like that's how I think about it. Like, it's such a great investment. Like for me to have these CDs, for me to have just my music with me. Like I'll always know everything's gonna be okay. Like as long as I got this shit with me. Like it's the stuff that's always gonna make me feel better. But like I said, now to this day, like now I'm just like pretty much full embracing my metalheadness. Like I fucking love metal so much. It's my favorite genre ever. I'm done suppressing and I'm never gonna suppress it again. It's so important to me. And just like me like having a mental breakdown recently and just like struggling so much, I mean, like it's just helping me realize that I just fucking, this is what makes me feel good. This is what I love. This is who I am. This is a part of me, and I'm not gonna suppress that shit anymore. I'm not gonna make myself suppress for other people. And so I just fucking love metal music, man. It's a, like I said, it's a part of me. I'm a metalhead. I love other types of music as well. Like I don't strictly listen to metal music, but I do listen to mostly metal music, and I feel like that's probably what it's going to be for most of my life from now on. I'll have probably bits and pieces here where I won't be listening that much metal. I'll be listening to like some other weird shit that I'm into at the time. But I always still mix in some weird shit at the same time too. But I just feel like metal is just like, that's what I want to surround myself, and that's what I want to listen to, and that's the stuff I want to be around. I love the artwork. I want to wear my offensive shirts and just sick fucking artwork and just sounds and stuff that just doesn't appeal to most people, and that's just always been me, and that's how I want to keep going. So hope you guys liked this video. I had really fun making it. I knew it would brighten my spirits. I got a little bit hyped up there towards the end. So let me know your story of getting into metal below. Love to hear about that. Sorry this video got long, but I could talk about metal music all day. I just love talking about it so much. So I'd love to connect with some of you guys out there. Metalheads come together, something we can connect over, separate the shit of this world, and come together over something that's fucking sick and awesome, and helps us express ourselves. So thanks for watching. See you guys later.